Hi, I'm poet and writer Kay Spivey, and today I wanted to talk about something that if you clicked on this video, you probably already have dealt with. If for some reason you're watching this video and you've never dealt with it, if you're going into the life of writing, at some point this is going to come up, and that is dealing with rejection. So rejection is something that we all know is kind of inevitable when you're trying to publish writing. At some point, somebody is not going to like what you write. I think the mindset of how we deal with this can be healthy or unhealthy. So rejection is something that I think they should really teach in schools. It's something that sets you up for a lot of different things in life. You're gonna get rejected by publishers, you're gonna get rejected by people, you're gonna get rejected in a lot of different avenues in your life. You're gonna get rejected by jobs. You're going to experience people saying no to you, and it is a good thing to learn how to take, because it does hurt, and it's okay that it hurts, and it's gonna hurt probably every time. But learning how to deal with it can be part of a growth mindset, which is the important part. Ty says it's better to grow than to stay stagnant. So there's a little bit of a rhetoric around getting rejected during publishing where it's not you, it's me, or it's not me, it's you, where someone has an opinion about your story or doesn't have an opinion, just doesn't want it, and it's just like, it's still fine, it's not you the writer, it's either the story or it's me, it's not right for me. This is really good at saving feelings. For example, if your story really wasn't right for me, if I'm reading your story and I'm like, this is not my genre, this is not my cup of tea, as someone reviewing it, or even as a critique partner, me saying that is feedback to you, like really it wasn't me, there's nothing wrong with your story. However, taking that mindset of, oh, it's not me as a writer, it's not my story, it's just that person, can be very harmful as well. Part of taking rejection is taking it seriously, allowing the hurt to wash over you, and to say, why did they actually reject this? Why don't they like it? If you send into a publisher, they read through your poems and they're like, this wasn't right for us. They send you one of those form ones that's like, we've carefully considered, but at this time we're not interested. It can be just that they weren't interested, but part of taking rejection seriously is looking at those poems again and being like, why weren't these right for them right now? Hopefully you did your due diligence and you looked at their journal and you looked at what they were looking for and you're like, these are right. And if they weren't right, maybe it is you. It's really helpful to take rejection and to be like, is this something I can grow from? If they give you specific notes, taking those notes seriously is important. Now obviously there are times where people are just like, this was terrible, you did all these things wrong, this was horrendous, and you can block that out. Like, negativity does not need to come into this circle of creative constructive criticism, but also completely ignoring the creative constructive criticism in order to protect yourself, or saying, oh, it just wasn't right for them every single time when this is happening again and again, that's not helpful either. Part of getting rejected is growing from it, and it's gonna happen all the time. I mean, you could get an agent on your first try, you could get the best publisher on your first try, and you're still gonna end up having a book signing where nobody shows up, or one person shows up and they thought you were someone else, or they were disappointed with you. Like, you're going to have that, and that's a type of rejection as well. And it's okay to feel bad about it. Like, obviously we're all human, we all feel horrible about being rejected in one way or another, but taking that rejection and being like, okay, well, what did I do wrong? Did I not tweet to my followers I was going to be here at this event? Did I not do my own due diligence with letting people know where I was going to be? Is it not updated on my website? Did I not ask my publisher to put out some posters? What did you do wrong is a good way to then figure out a way to grow from it. And this is important in relationships as well as in publishing. If you're getting some kind of negative feedback from people in your life, just being like, oh, it's just them, and throwing it off, or being like, well, they're not doing this, is always going to be detrimental to your relationship. But being like, did I do something wrong? Is there a way I could have fixed this? Like, maybe it was their problem, but maybe if I had just gotten up and fixed the thing that bothered me, rather than being like, you need to fix this thing that's bothering me, when it clearly isn't bothering them. Sometimes that's just a healthier way of dealing with things. Sometimes you have to stop and look at things. So if you're getting a lot of rejection, if you've sent out your query and you are getting all form rejections. If you have sent out poetry to many, many literary journals and you're not getting anything but form letters back saying no, it's time to stop and look at yourself. And this is something that's really important. This is something that they should teach you in schools. This is something that I think is one of the best life lessons you can learn, is to take the no's and be like, what can I improve on? This is the best way to handle rejection, is to say, yes, I've done something wrong. And if you can't find what that something is, going to someone that you trust and asking them, hey, can you help me, because I'm getting a lot of negatives here and I'm looking for positives. Someone who you trust to give you the positives, but to be real with you, can really help this out a whole lot and turn the whole thing around. The only thing you don't want to do is to keep sending out the same work, or to keep kind of, what's the phrase, punching a dead horse in the mouth. Is that the phrase, or is that one of those like combined ones? But you don't want to punch a dead horse in the mouth. Is that really what it's called? Oh man. When you're first sort of sending things out, you can kind of take it with a grain of salt. It's really good to keep your rejections, even if they're form rejections, just as a rule of thumb. For one thing, you can keep track of who you sent to a lot easier if you also have the rejections. You're like, okay, I've heard back from this person and they weren't into it, so that you're not sending back the same work and just being like, please let it be a different editor this time. Like, that is not the way to go. If you've been rejected from a magazine, don't send them back the same work. Either revise it and wait a season, or send something different if you're going to send again, because it's probably not going to be a different editor, and they're going to start noticing over time if they're like, I have read this before. So be careful there. And obviously, don't put yourself down too much. Just because you're getting rejected doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad writer, but it could mean that your writing isn't up to par. It could mean that you have some growth to do. It's really bad to just be like, I'm a good writer, it's not me, it's them. It's just really unhealthy. And so even though I think we do need to give ourselves some credit and say, yes, it could just be them, this could just not be right for them, it is a lot healthier to take that and grow from it and be like, actually, I have been rejected by this person and there's a reason for it. And what is that reason, and what can I do? Do I need to do a better revision? Do I need to really have a friend help me because I am not making any progress? Do I need to really go in a different direction? Was this story not meeting its potential? Did I not write it well enough? Did this poem really not do anything interesting or different? Was it really not the right piece for this journal, and I was just sending in with, you know, kind of crossing my fingers and hoping for the best, but I really shouldn't have been? Take the time to look at yourself critically and figure out what you've done wrong, because if you do that every time you're rejected, rejections are going to start to feel more like constructive criticism. They're going to start to feel like something you can grow from and move past, rather than being a whole bunch of obstacles and a whole bunch of, you know, when you get the return from a literary journal where you're just like, I don't even want to click on it because I know they're going to say no. But if you know they're going to say no, if you're not hopeful that they're going to say yes, then maybe you did something wrong. And maybe this is something you can improve upon. Take the optimistic approach every time, because bad things are going to happen and they're going to keep happening. You're going to constantly get rejections from one person or another. Like, you're going to get rejections from agents. Once you've got an agent, you're going to get rejected by editors and publishers, and it's just going to be a cycle of rejections, and you can block them completely out, or you can use them as fuel. And you don't want to use them as rage fuel, because although it works sometimes, that's really something that it could get to you and it could make you really bitter and cynical. Whereas you can take it and be like, no, I can do better than this. I'm going to do better than this, and I'm going to show them that, yeah, they were right. It wasn't right that time, but it will be right the next time they see it. That's the best mindset you can have towards rejection. And that's true of anything in life. You need to look at yourself first and figure out what you've done wrong, rather than just jumping in to blame it on somebody else. That has been my rant. I think you guys deserve a kitty for all this real talk coming at you. So let me go grab Zuko so you can see how big he is. Here's the Zeus. Here's Zuko. Oh my gosh. Did you guys watch my kitten video when he was so tiny? Look, wait, let me stretch him out because he is about 9 months now. Look at this guy. He has turned out to be a Norwegian forest cat. So he's actually like big. Look at this guy. Look at those paws. He's not even a year yet, and he's getting bigger than Pai and Mulan. It's nuts. Look at his tail! Never had a Norwegian forest cat before, so I'm very excited. He has just every feature of them. He has the little high-pitched voice, he's getting the ruff around his neck, he's got the tail, his paws are big and they're fuzzy, and he's got those tufts that come out of his ears. I love it. Anyway, so that was the kitten part at the end. Good for you for sticking around to see Zuko. I hope you haven't had too many rejections, but just know this is normal. And you can grow from it, you can learn from it. This is a normal part of the writing routine. It isn't a reflection on whether or not you can be a writer, but it could be a reflection on where you are now as a writer. So use that as fuel to grow from it. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. If you've been rejected, if you need just some, you know, kudos, moral support, leave a comment down below and we can try and pep each other up. It happens and it sucks, but we can learn from it and we can do better. So yeah, I hope you're having a great day. I will talk to you in the next video. Good luck to all of us. Bye.